what changes did we do in the app to make it run on Swarm? All right, let's go and look. I'm going to do, okay, if I do like a git log, I'm going to see lots and lots and lots of changes because the repo also has the slides. So I'm going to see tons of changes in the slides. So let's do git log dot. I see changes in August, so a few months ago. Let's see exactly what's in those changes. Sorry. Dash E. So I see changes in compose files. More compose file changes. I see changes in the HTML because I don't even bother updating that anymore, but there was a thing like there is a button and you click on it and you can tweet. And so I just changed the hashtag for the tweet. More changes in compose file, etc., etc. Let's see. What if I say exclude all the changes in the YAML file, exclude all the changes in the HTML file, and show me the changes since July the 4th, 2015. Why July the 4th? Well, because the first time I did the workshop was in June of 2015, and my birthday is July the 4th. So now the changes that are left are changes in Docker files. And that's it. Since the app was written, I didn't, so almost 1.5 years ago, I didn't change a single line of code. Even when I switched, you can see here, I did a few changes in the Docker file specifically to switch from the original like Ruby image to the Ruby thin image, the Ruby Alpine image. So I switched distros. I went from Debian to Alpine because I wanted smaller images, and yet I didn't change anything in the code. So that's good. That's good because remember when I wrote that demo app, SwarmKit did not exist. It did not even exist in the minds of the people who did it because even like what we call Swarm Classic, so what came before SwarmKit, was only in really early stage at this point. That's pretty interesting because it means that the code I wrote back then was already, I don't know how to call that, container ready, container native, I don't know. And another interesting fact is that back then we didn't use the local registry. We were using the Docker Hub to distribute the images because that was easier back then. And if I go to the Docker Hub, I have here like the images that I pushed like a long time ago. And if I want, I can take those images and I can still run them with SwarmKit and they work. Because the image format has not changed, the code has not changed, so this still works. So how could I pull that trick? Well, the first thing was to write the app using something really close to 12-factor app principles. Think of it as something really stateless, and the key thing was really service discovery. Even back then, when I wrote that demo app, we didn't have overlay networks, we didn't have all those fancy things, but there was something called links, where you could say, I want that container to be available, like let's say this is my Redis container. I want my Redis container to be available from the web UI with the name Redis. It was more complex to write than what we have in the compose file today, but there was the same idea. And so when I wrote my code, I say, okay, I'm just going to connect to Redis, and that's going to work. Later, before we had overlay networks, we had something called ambassadors, which is a kind of traffic director or proxy, and that would let us use the same concept but across multiple hosts. And then we had overlay networks and services. So my code didn't have to change all along. Of course, existing apps might require some change when you want to put them on SwarmKit. It's not, my demo app worked fine, but it's a demo app. I kind of knew what I was doing more or less. I had no crystal ball to know what SwarmKit would be like today, but I have kind of ideas. Existing apps will generally require more changes to put them in containers.